Let it not be supposed by the enemies of the system that, during the period of his solitary incarceration, Oliver was denied the benefit of exercise, the pleasure of society, or the advantage of religious consolations. As for exercise, it was nice cool weather, and he was alone to perform his absolutions every morning under the palm, in the stone yard, in the presence of Mr. Bumble, who prevent his catching cold and cause the tingling sensation to pervade his frame, by repeated application of the game. As for society, he was carried every other day into the hall where the boys denied, and their sociable flock as a public warning and example, and so far from being denied in advantage of religious consolations, he was kicked into the same apartment every evening at prayer time, and there permitted to listen to and console his mind with a general supplication of the boy, containing a special clause, the reign inserted by authority of the bird, in which they entered to be made good virtues, contained and obedient, and to be guarded from the sins and vice of Oliver Twice, whom the supplication distinctly set forth to be under the exclusive patronage and protection of the power of weakness, and an article direct from the manufactory of the very devil himself. It chanced one morning, while Oliver affairs were in this auspicious and comfortable state, that Mr. Gamfield, chimney sweep, went his way down the High Street, deeply cogitating in his mind his ways and means of paying certain areas of the rent, for which his landlord had become rather pressing. Mr. Camfield's most sanguine estimate of his finance could not raise them within full £5 of the desired amount, and in a species of arithmetical desperation, he was alternately cudgeling his brains and his donkey. When passing the workhouse, his eyes encountered the bill on the gate. "Whoa!" said Mr. Gamfield to the donkey. The donkey was in a state of profound abstraction, wondering, probably, whether he was destined to be regarded with a capital or two when he had disposed of the two sacks of the suit with which the little cart was laden. So, without noticing the word of comment, he jogged onward. Mr. Gamfield growled a fierce imprecation on the donkey generally, but more particularly on his ass, and running after him, bestowed a blow on his head, which would inevitably have beaten in any skull but a donkey's. Then, catching hold of the bridle, he gave his tail a sharp wrench, by way of gentle reminder that he was not his own master, and by this means turned him round. He then gave him another blow on the head, just to stun him till he came back again. Having completed this arrangement, he walked up to the gate to read the bill. The gentleman with the white waistcoat was standing at the gate with his hands behind him, after having delivered himself of some profound sentiments in the boardroom. Having witnessed the little dispute between Mr. Gamfield and the donkey, he smiled justly when that person came up to read the bill, for the say at once Mr. Gamfield was exactly the sort of Master Oliver twice wanted. Mr. Gamfield smiled, too, as he perused the document. For £5 was just the sum he had been wishing for, and as to the boy with which it was encumbered, Mr. Gamfield, knowing what the theory, what the diary of the workhouse was, well knew he would be a nice small pattern, just the very thing for register stuff. So he spelled the bill again, from beginning to end, and then tossing his fur cap in token of humility, across the gentleman in the white waistcoat. This here boy, sir, when the Paris want to prentice, said Mr. Gamfield. My man, said the gentleman in the white waistcoat, with a condescending smile. What of him? What of him? If the Paris would like him to learn right present trade in a good, respectable, simply sweeping business, said Mr. Gamfield, I want a practice and I'm ready to take him. If the Paris would like him to learn right pleasant trade in a good, respectable, simply sweeping business, said Mr. Gamfield, I want a practice and I'm ready to take him. Walk in, said the gentleman in the white waistcoat. Mr. Gamfield having lingered behind, to give the donkey another blow on head and another rinse of the jaw, as a caution not to run away in his absence, followed the gentleman with the white waistcoat into the room where Oliver had first seen him. It's a nasty creed, said Mr. Limbkins, when Gamfield had again stated his wish. Young boys have been smart in chimneys before now, said another gentleman. That's a cause the dam of the trail over the lid it in the chimney to make 'em come down again, said Gamfield. That's all smoke, and no blazer. Very smoke and no use at all in making a boy come down, for it only sends him to sleep, and that's what he likes. Boys is very obstinate and very lazy, gentlemen, and there's nothing like a good hot place to make 'em come down fit round. It's human too, gentlemen, a cause, even if they have stuck in the chimney roasting their feet makes 'em struggle to extricate themselves.